talking about that beast of a pose, Warrior 3. Namely, in Warrior 3, how to keep your hips neutral. This is the biggest thing I see in Warrior 3 is people basically so worried about their balance as they're teetering around on one foot that this hip will open, and then once they find their balance with that open hip sort of counterbalancing them, they're like, okay, I've got it, I'm here. Hips need to stay neutral in Warrior 3. So I'm going to give you today several tips on things to think about, things to engage, and some drills to do to help kind of create that muscle memory for keeping the hips neutral. So we're going to need blocks, a long strap, and also the wall. So lots of different ways to play here in Warrior 3. There's a lot going on in Warrior 3 in terms of your body needing to be both strong and flexible. With that being said, nobody's telling you have to go into a really deep expression of the pose. You don't have to bring your body completely parallel to the floor. Maybe your Warrior 3 is right here. That's okay. You're still feeling the work if that's where your body is. There's a lot going on in this standing leg. This glute is working hard. These quads are working hard. But also that hamstring needs to be open enough to allow you to find that movement. Your core needs to work hard so you don't fall into a back bend. You have to support that. There's a lot happening. And the first thing we're going to do is bring 2 blocks. If you don't have any, then find pretty tall books. They need to be pretty tall. And obviously the same height here. And these blocks are going to come right underneath our shoulders. So our spine is staying really long here. Maybe I'm going to turn this way for you. I also do this in standing split, which is essentially what we're starting from, a standing half split. So arms right under the shoulders here. And you're just going to start drawing either leg back. Now flex that foot. Keep an eye on it so that your toes stay pointing straight down. We don't want to open up and those toes point out. So those are kind of a guide for you on what's happening there. Now having these blocks under our hands are just helping us with our balance. So that's not something we're worried about right now. Now once you're here, think about coming out of a back bend. Pull that core in strong, belly button in, low ribs in. Now, this is one of my favorite tips, and it comes from one of my favorite teachers, Jamie Elmer. Think about the front top of the standing leg, the front top. Press back from there. That's going to engage what you want to be engaged. And it also helps bring the hips neutral. If you're open here and you try and press back from the front top of that standing leg, it really can't. You have to come neutral in order to press back from there. Memorize how that feels, especially that pressing back for the front top of that thigh. Now from here, you can find whatever arms you like in your Warrior 3, or you can just stay here in standing half split. This is a lot of work as it is. I tend to like my prayer hands in my heart here. You can bring them out for balance. Usually the hardest is, it makes me lose my balance, is bringing my arms forward. My bad shoulder doesn't like that. So I tend to shy away from that version. Now, one more way to take balance out of the equation, because Warrior 3 is a hard pose even when you're not balancing. But when you're trying to do it on one foot, it's even harder. So let's find a wall here. Step up to the wall and bring your hands about mid-chest level, about shoulder width apart. And then take a step back. Now we're going to press against the wall here. And you want yourself to be about 90 degrees. I usually have to bring my hands down just a little bit to allow that to happen. You don't want your back to arch here. Nice and flat. Bring the feet close together. And then start to bring back either leg. So same thing here. We're pressing against the wall. Now the tendency here is really to open up. So really keep an eye on that back foot. Maybe it doesn't come up as high as you think it should. That's okay. Toes down, press back with the front top of that standing leg. Keep pressing against the wall. Keep lengthening in 2 directions. Maybe video yourself here. Do it in front of a mirror. That's the easiest way to see what's really going on in your body. But it's a nice way to take the balance out of it and really feel what's happening in those hips, because they do want to open. When I have people at the wall doing this, and of course they can't see themselves, they can only feel themselves. And I'm saying, bring the hip down, even more, even more, even more, even more. And they start to get upset because as they're bringing their hip down, that leg is coming down too. And they want their leg up here. In order for that to happen, they need to open their hips. But their hips need to be neutral, which means maybe their leg is going to be down here in that pose, and that's okay. That's just something you kind of have to come to terms with your own body. We're going to take our strap now. This is another drill I like to teach with Warrior 3. So you're going to bring it under one of your feet. It's like a jump rope. So you can start with it behind you. Then step back with either foot and step on the jump rope. Now you're going to work your hands down so that the strap is taut and your arms are straight. And then you're going to start inching forward from the waist, drawing that foot back that's on the strap, keeping your arms next to your side. So again, think about pressing back with the front half of the thigh on that standing leg. And you can feel your arms here as sort of your guide. You'll feel, if you start to open, that arm coming up to the ceiling, and it needs to stay next to your side. So this is another fun way to really sort of play with the hips and to sort of learn to feel what it feels like. We're creating muscle memory here. The more you do this with props, with the blocks, with the wall, with the strap, pressing back with that front top of that standing leg, you're going to start to memorize what that feels like to have your hips neutral, what's engaging where and how. One more with the strap. This time, lots of people like this one the best, saving the best for last. You're going to find your strap in a big loop. You have to have a long strap for this. And you want your loop to be about the length of your leg when you're stepping on it. Right about the length of your leg. Now I'm going to step my other foot through so that when I pull the strap over, it's sort of in the crease of that other leg. Now this has me lifting the foot that's on the strap back. And as I do so, that strap is going to catch on that other leg. And this really sort of keeps you honest here. It keeps sort of pulling this hip down in line with the other one. And it's really forcing you to press back with the front top of that thigh. It's pulling it back for you. So you're really getting a sense of what that feels like. The scary thing here is that when you start to lose your balance, you're sort of tied up in a strap. So just be ready to lose the strap. Or maybe have something nearby to grab onto. And then when you start to really find the way that feels, then you can start really incorporating Warrior 3 into your practice. And even just a back and forth without straightening the leg, but keeping those hips neutral. Just start practicing keeping the hips neutral. You can play with the arms. They can be lots of different places as you learn to find your balance. Having them out helps you create that counterbalance, and that can help you as you're learning your Warrior Three. That's all I have for today. Hopefully some of these tips helped, some of these drills helped. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and keep on practicing.